Off, let's just open this up and just say, hey everybody, and welcome to the JD Talk Show. This is episode 013. That's right, number 13. And I'm here with none other than Mrs. Deja Riley. Deja, how you doing?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me here.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. I just want to give you a big hug right now, but I might light on fire with the candle right here.
We'll have to do it afterward, not next to
Absolutely.
fire.
Absolutely. Done. Signed, sealed, delivered. Well, first off, everybody, welcome to the show. And again, this is the beautiful, amazing, talented Deja Riley. I'm just going to use your first name and last name from here on out.
Sure, why not?
But I just wanted to introduce you as, first off, this is a wonderful friend of mine, someone whom I truly respect within the industry. She is you can fill in the details as well too. So she is a Lululemon studio trainer. She has had her hands in just many things from the fitness industry, the dance industry. The list goes on. I can't wait to just dive into this because you are someone that I've wanted to have on the show. And in fact, someone that gets to be the first person on the show too.
So exciting.
All right. I know my wife is a little bit jealous, but don't worry, honey. I got a time slotted for you as well. You just don't know which time that will be. So first 10 questions. Basically what we're doing on the show is we're diving into the power of discipline, what it could do for others and for those that are listening, what it could do for you too. And I want to bring in people that inspire me, that I feel like are a true reflection of whom I want to be and more. All right. And this is where I want to give it up to Deja. So please tell me, Deja, who is Deja Riley?
You know, JD, that's such a great question. It's actually a question that has had a transformational answer for me. And so I was so used to identifying myself by all the labels and titles that I've been given over the years. And I've really challenged myself probably within the last year or so to announce who I am or introduce who I am by stripping those titles off. So the world may know me as some of the things that you mentioned: a Lululemon studio trainer, a Lululemon ambassador, former dancer, now a podcaster, a wife and a sister, a daughter, all of these different things. But I always think once those titles are stripped, I'm still who I am.
Right.
And am I still all of these things that I say that I stand for? And so now I like to introduce myself by the energy that I carry. And so I say, I am love, I am joy, I am light, I am a motivator, I am an inspirer, I am just like a beacon of hope. I am someone who likes to lead, but also someone who likes to follow. And yeah, I think that I'm learning so much about myself right now that I think that those things will be ever evolving, ever changing. And I'm just happy that I am someone who is willing to embrace growth and willing to not just be defined by the titles that I'm given, but really to burst through those titles and allow myself to energetically show up in all of the different spaces that I do.
Wow. Well said. Oh my gosh. Question one, everybody, in the books. And even just everything that you're saying, what I'm taking from that is just diving into just a deeper understanding of how you want to see yourself. And I think that's something that we can all get behind and actually try to model for ourselves as well. So well said to that. I wanted to dive right into the nitty gritty. Basically, this year, 2023, I can't believe we're in the 23 right now.
I know.
It's insane.
It really is wild. And stepping into this year, I just turned 35. So
Woo,
I'm
happy birthday.
JD and X were on my birthday. It was amazing. But yeah, it's I feel like it's just such a powerful year already. And we're only in the third month of the year and already so much
I can't believe it's March.
I know, right?
I can't believe it. I tell you what. So at the beginning of the year, and I feel like a lot of us can relate to this as well. As the new year hits, we're like, I have to do something. And it may be starting something. It might be continuing. It might be stopping something as well, which, hey, there are things that we can all do to better our lives and improve it. And one thing that I wanted take on, which is why I started this in the first place. It was my own sense of accountability.
Yeah.
Because I know that there are people out there as well. Because if I'm struggling even with my own discipline, my own routine, gosh, I'm sure somebody else is too.
Yeah.
And they're probably going through the same thing. They go straight to YouTube. How can I become disciplined?
Yeah.
And so again, if you're viewing this, I hope this helps you. Why I started this, I wanted to do a morning routine that was true to me, something that I could follow easily and find myself winning. I like to win.
Yeah.
Deja, I know you
I
like to win
win
too.
too.
Yes.
Yeah, we have that
Yes
in
to
common.
winning.
You know
Let's
it.
go. So how do you let me just start this off with question number 2, but what's your morning routine like?
Ooh.
Like your not the I do this on occasion, like
Yeah.
the mandatory, the musts.
The must. Okay, so I used to call my morning routine my Deja Dailies.
I'm
And they were like
I'm here. I'm writing.
They were like
things
non-negotiables of things that I had to do in the morning before I was able to like dive into any work, before I was talking to anyone, before I was answering emails or any things of the sort. I was like, I have to do my Deja Dailies. And at some point they became just a little too rigid for me. It was like a little bit too much structure. It didn't allow me the freedom to wake up and make a choice, make a new choice, right?
Yeah.
So I will tell you the things that are mandatory for me to get done, but I don't do them in a specific order anymore.
Okay.
I just kind of let it flow. Like I wake up, at some point in the morning, I'm going to stretch. Some point in the morning, I'm going to nourish my body. I'm going to eat something healthy. Going to drink some water. I have like a skincare routine that I do that I love. I mainly really, really love jade rolling my face.
What is that?
So it's like giving your face a mini massage. Honestly? Okay. So your wife knows about
jade
this.
rolling.
Jade
I was
rolling,
like, I was like,
wait.
Jay rolling.
Oh.
Because we got our friend.
Rolling. Jade rolling was X like acting it out.
Yes.
Yeah. So jade rolling, or like some people gua sha. You know those.
I know what a gua sha is.
Okay,
I know what a gua sha is. Yes.
Your wife put you
Yes.
on.
That's right.
So yeah, jade roll my face at some point. That's like my favorite part of my skincare routine.
Okay.
And then I have to find time for meditation and reading. I think that it's so important for me to sit in stillness because my life is just super performative. Like I'm always high energy and I'm always like pouring out all these things.
You always have to be on.
Yeah. And so I think it's really good to find those moments to turn off.
Absolutely.
And first thing in the morning, it's key for me to do that. And even if it's just a 5-minute meditation, I'm going to make the space and time to do it. If I have to wake up a little earlier to make sure I can get that in before I start my day, I'm going to do it. And then I usually like to do some reading with like jazz music on in the background.
Whoa.
Jazz music is my jam in the morning. It's
reading
just the
with
way
jazz.
to get started. Yes. Leading with jazz in the morning.
Wow. Okay.
That's a part of like all of my daily morning things. But you know, I do them out of order sometimes. I don't like I used to be like, okay, this is step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that just didn't leave room for like the fun and freedom that I like to embrace in my life. So now I will get them all done in the morning before I dive into work. But I do allow myself the freedom for them to come in any order that they need to.
I like that. So this is exactly why I wanted to have another person that I can relate to, but also I am truly inspired by on this. That's why I wanted to do this in the first place, is because there is more than one way to do it.
Yeah.
And I, for one, am very, very, I have to have I've found that through structure, regiment, I actually thrive.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, if I hit my check boxes, I'm like solid.
Yeah.
But if I fall out of my routine, I'm almost like, oh God, uh-oh.
Yeah.
What's happening? Things are falling apart. I didn't have my water this morning. This is bad. I'm getting better with it.
Yeah.
However, I just even like seeing this, because reading with jazz music, meditation, it's almost like a different level of nourishment for your soul, for your peace of mind. And I say this throughout the show as well, and even just also even now, it's being able to stack wins in the morning. If you're able to do that consistently in the morning, you're able to offset the challenging moments that happen throughout the day.
Yeah.
And as one of my favorite speakers, Les Brown, says, it's not a bad day, it's a character building day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
like
So
that.
it's like, yeah, it's just like a different way of looking at it and just kind of flipping it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also, it allows you to give yourself a little grace, right?
Exactly.
Because we all deserve to give ourselves grace.
We do.
And we
do.
give
Can
it
you say
often
that
to
to the
others.
camera? Can you say that to
We all deserve to give ourselves grace.
That's
I
right.
think it's important. I think that's why I didn't want to stick to this rigid routine that felt like just so stern and like concrete. I wanted it to have a little sense of looseness, a little bit of just like fluidity there, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted it to allow it to flow. And I knew the things that I needed to get done. So I really didn't need like a checklist. I didn't really need to like write it down in my reminders every day. It's like these are things that I actually want to do in the morning for myself, This is how I set the tone for my day. And guess what? If one of those things falls off the list for the day, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be all right.
It is. It's going to be all right.
Yeah.
I love that. Well said, Deja.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a question off of the list that we didn't do yet, or that I didn't send you, but what book are you reading right now?
Ooh, I like this question. I love to read.
Okay.
Love to read. Right now, I'm actually reading 2 books.
2 books?
I am.
Who are you?
I know. But it's because my friend's book just came out. And so, yeah. So I'm reading How We Heal.
How We Heal.
And that is by Alex L. She's actually like one of just like my favorite like writers. She talks a lot about like healing and like vulnerability, similar to Brene Brown, but just from a different perspective.
Yes.
I really, really respect her and love the things that she puts out into the world. And so I've been reading her book, but I've been taking my time with it. I actually started this book in January.
Oh,
and
awesome.
Like it has a lot of journaling prompts and it has some meditations in it and stuff. So it's really a book that you take your time with. You don't rush through it.
Right.
So like I'm reading that right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so one of my friends, Chrissy King, just came out with a new book. Please don't let me butcher the name because I just opened it yesterday. The Body Liberation Project. I believe that's what it is. But do not quote me on that. I know that it's something about the body and liberation, but her name is Chrissy King.
Chrissy King.
Yes, Chrissy King. She's also an excellent writer. And yeah, I just opened her book for the first time yesterday,
awesome.
And I'm very excited to get into it.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
So I have a very, very difficult time reading.
Yeah.
Because my thoughts are all over the place and I get so distracted by shining lights and Missy coming through and stuff like that I have to force myself to be in just like I have to throw headphones on.
Yeah.
And yes.
I said it right. Thank you,
X.
It is the Body Liberation Project.
Let's go. I have to listen to an audiobook. Okay. And then I do what's called active listening where you take notes. So it's like reading with my ears. I
like that.
I guess. Yeah.
Audibles aren't for everyone, but like I find that if the original author is reading it,
yes, I
like it. But if it's someone else reading their story, for some reason, I just can't lock in.
Yeah, I haven't had that yet. Yeah. I'm on my second book right now.
Yes.
It's called Finding Ultra by Rich Roll.
Okay.
And it took me a second to kind of vibe with it because it was more like backstory and stuff like that. But now it's getting interesting. It's how he used his story of recovery and how he became. I think he's in his 50s and he is a Ironman.
Wow.
And he's like ultra marathon runner. Like he's insane.
Okay.
He's insane. But the book is good so far. I'm liking it a lot.
Good.
Okay. So back to the theme, the theme of this show, why I'm doing this, discipline.
Yeah.
Okay. What does discipline mean to you?
It also is a word that has been transformative in my life. What discipline meant to me as a kid is not the same as what discipline means to me now.
Amen to that.
When I was younger, I, started out as a dancer at 3 years old. I was
You started at
classically
3?
At 3. Classically trained in ballet, jazz, tap, lyrical, flamenco, all of these different styles of dance.
Let's go.
Loved it, but required a great deal of discipline at a very, very early age. And, for me, like, so many of my teachers were very strict and
Yes.
very, very stern, especially my ballet teachers.
Oh yeah, ballet. They will.
Oh man,
they will get you.
You
they
know
will,
about this.
They will
JD.
grab your feet. They will form it the way that they want it to be formed.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, "Now you're gonna hold it."
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
For the rest of the class.
I don't miss those days at all.
There was in Chicago. We had a Russian ballet teacher, and she would just be like, she'd get down on all old lady too.
Yeah.
She'd be speaking in her tone and just like, you must point your foot like this, hold it. And like it was me and another guy, and we were dying.
Of course.
Everybody else was laughing at us.
Oh man.
It was great though. It was great. She's one of my favorite teachers of all time.
Wait, JD, did you ever have that thing called a foot stretcher? Where it was like a solid piece of wood?
No, but my friend did, and I know what you're talking about.
You know what you're talking. Like, our teachers made us use those. Just stick your foot in it with your knee bent, and then they straighten your leg out, and it just pushes down on the top of your foot.
Yeah,
creates like an amazing arch.
I had to do the couch, where you put your toes underneath. No. Yeah.
It's just
then you lay back, and then it's.
You're not supposed to do that.
You're not supposed to do that, my friends. Times are changing. Yeah. Times are changing. You don't need that.
No, you don't.
But I still have my little party trick, and it's the articulation of the toes and the tendu. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I ain't. This is, you're gonna have to pay a special price to see these biscuit feet.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, JD, we have to like take a ballet class at some point together.
No.
We have to. Honestly.
I'm gonna wear basketball shorts and ankle socks like I did back in the day to just.
As you should. Oh my gosh, so good. But yeah, so discipline just looked different back then. You know, it was like it felt like you had no room to like step outside of the lines or color outside of the lines. Like discipline was like, okay, we're walking the straight and narrow path and there's no room for error.
Yeah.
And that was interesting because it shaped me into like the person I am today, the entrepreneur that I am today. It shaped my work ethic. It required a lot of me as a child. That now I look back at it and I'm like, that was pretty like tough as a kid to like be susceptible to this level of discipline.
Yeah.
But then as an adult, I appreciate it because I'm like, well, sometimes I look at, people doing the same thing as me or like working in similar industries as me. And I'm like, well, the discipline that was drilled into me at a very young age is what sets me apart from, other people that are in my industry. I think I say like things like discipline and those types of values separate the best from the rest. Right?
Absolutely. That's why, listen, the industry that we're in is not made for everybody.
Yeah.
And if you're new coming into it, it's a very scary and intimidating place to be. But at the end of the day, it's really about being a good person, and really just surrounding yourself with people that inspire you.
Yeah.
And that's what will lead to the next thing. I think on another, you and I could just go
we could jam all day.
Save that for another time.
Yeah. But taking the rest of the question, what discipline means to me now.
Right.
I
Thank you for pulling me back in.
I got you.
Yes.
I got you.
Yes.
I feel like now discipline is the driving force that ignites my intrinsic motivation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that I have a community to show up for, because I know that I have people that are depending on me. I am definitely wanting or desiring to embrace the discipline and make sure that I'm showing up, I'm doing the things that I need to do to like feed myself so that I can put things out into the world. So I just think
Absolutely.
like it's not so rigid. I know I use that word a lot, but like it's just
Yeah.
not so firm, concrete, boxed in. It's like there is room for grace and there's room
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
you to make mistakes along the way, but you stick to a certain routine or you stick
Right.
to certain core values
Right.
that make you, the incredible human that you are. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And in a way, discipline kind of creates, it doesn't have to be rigid, which is again, you get to see like two different sides of a many-sided coin, that of just like this of what discipline can do for all of us. And discipline in a way, kind of, when you find what's right for you, it equals freedom,
yeah,
which is pretty cool.
yeah.
I wanted to circle back to just like how long have you been coaching, teaching,
Yeah. So, okay,
sharing?
I have been a coach and a teacher, more of an assistant teacher for a very long time because I used to assistant teach dance back when I was like in middle school, high school. So what my dance teachers set up like for some of the company kids is like we could come and assist some of the classes and like spend basically more time in the studio.
Yeah.
And so that is really where like my teaching journey started. I would study under some of my teachers, some of the greatest teachers of my life, and like come and assist them. And that's how I began to learn how to be a coach, how to be a teacher. Even when I moved out to LA, I then took that a step further and I studied under this really renowned choreographer, Lorianne Gibson, and I became her assistant.
Okay.
And so after that, like that's really where I learned like how to become like a movement coach, and I learned like the different things, the different aspects of artistry, and how to develop an artist, and like how to get somebody who wasn't necessarily a dancer per se or natural at dancing, and get them to move according to like how their body wanted to move,
Right.
and how to express their lyrics through their body, which sometimes isn't something that comes easy for someone,
Right. Exactly.
So that is where teaching really began for me. As far as like coaching in fitness, I started in the fitness industry about 7 years ago. It was a transition from the dance industry into fitness. And
do you remember your first class?
I do. It was awful.
Yes. And let's just say this: every fitness professional remembers their first class all too well.
It was pretty bad.
But it's all uphill from here, my friends. It's all up here. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's I don't even have to know what happened, but I feel it.
You can feel it, right? Yeah.
I can feel it. Speaking of coaching, what's one of your favorite modalities to teach?
I think we might have this one in common. Boxing. It's my absolute favorite. Go. And I say that because there's still so much, not that there's not a lot for me to learn in dance, but I've had so many life experiences through dance, right? And I still feel like a baby in boxing. Like I still feel like there's constantly like new things that I learned from different coaches. It has been also a transformative experience, and you can tell already I'm attracted to those. I'm like anything that's going to make me evolve and grow and like keep me on my toes, keep me thinking. And boxing is that for me. So
it's something about like the physicality or the fight or flight. I have to stay on my toes literally, or else I'm going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
And again, you don't have to be a fighter to enter this world, and that's actually why we do what we do, is to share that level is okay. You can do boxing just for the fitness. You could do jiu-jitsu, MMA, Krav Maga, Taekwondo. Any level of physicality is going to improve your overall life. And I say that with so much seriousness that I mean, I could say and I think you can relate to this as well, like boxing's helped save my life.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Hands down, 100%. I will
totally.
definitely echo the same. And I think that boxing also requires a great deal of discipline and a great deal of focus. You see that word coming back around. But definitely, like for me, it really helps to shape and also embrace a lot of my core values.
Yes.
And I think it just makes me a better person.
100%. I mean, you're like fantastic as a person.
Thank you.
Who were you before? I bet you were amazing.
I mean, honestly, JD, like I will say this, like I knew nothing about boxing when I entered into the fitness industry like 7 years ago. Knew absolutely nothing about boxing. And I now have just gotten into where I feel extremely confident in the sport. Like I think that in the very beginning, I was so like nervous about like putting my gloves on. I was so nervous about like throwing the punch the right way, the technical aspects of it. I really honestly was judging myself a lot when I first like stepped into just boxing before I ever even got into the ring. And I think that it has definitely elevated my confidence. I think that it has taught me that it's okay to like start at something brand new and be a beginner again. And ultimately it has like, I think reignited that level of discipline in me that I think like at every stage in your life, you like need to be like, just like set on fire again, And
Agreed.
I think boxing did that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boxing does some amazing things.
It really does.
It really does. I just want to check. We're still good on sound? Yeah. Camera just did a funny little thing, so I just wanted to make sure.
A little flicker.
You could still hear everything. Check.
This
1,
is live,
2.
people.
This is live, folks. Listen, we're here. We're here doing this, and got a great team in the background. Missy's over there, just like, guys, it's fine. Just get over it.
X, Missy, and Jay.
Yes.
Kicking it on the side.
So, tell me about Dose of Duality. Because Deja also has her own show, a podcast, and there's also some video content as well circulating the World Wide Web.
Yeah, thank you for that.
That was very Minnesotan of you, by the way. I'm from the Midwest, so I immediately gravitated.
They don't know that already. They do know.
They didn't know that. I'm from Minnesota. So all the O's, A's, and O's are coming out, folks. All right.
I love it. So I would say that Dose of Duality is just this interesting journey that I've been on for the past couple of months. A podcast that I launched literally just last month.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations, by the way.
So
I feel like we kind of like are on like the same like we didn't even like talk to each other about it, and then all of a sudden we were just like Deja came up to me and was like, so when are we doing this? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, when am I coming over? I'm doing this. And I was like, well, okay, we'll figure it out now. And here we are.
That is, I mean, honestly, like I think that part of it is like the power of manifestation. I think like for me, I really wanted to start using my voice more because I use my body so much. And I know you can relate to that too. Is
100%.
Like we use our bodies on a daily basis, but we also have so much to say. And some of that we get to say in little bite-sized pieces when we're coaching.
Yeah.
But a lot of that, like, we really only share with like our immediate circle, our family, our friends,
Exactly.
And so I have this like deep desire to start to share like some of my deepest thoughts and really have some like super strong conversations that I got to dive into with people that I've cultivated a sense of community with.
Yes.
And I say in my podcast, like in every episode, that like we are cultivating this sense of community around the state of coexistence, right? And so like duality, the actual word, just means two things, maybe two opposing things, or just two things that exist in the same space at once that may not be the normal two things that sit side by side. They're like not really twins, but like they're able to sit with each other and like be in harmony with each other, right?
I like that.
And I think like we're, as humans, we have such a broad range of emotions.
Yes.
We are not just one, we don't have just one quality. We at any given time could be experiencing a multitude of emotions. And there needs to be space for that.
100%.
Yeah. So like that's really what I created the podcast out of, is like sitting down and having conversations. And you're going to see a familiar face on the show soon.
Yes. Let's go.
But yeah, just sitting down and having conversations with like people that I admire, some people that I like don't even know. I sat on the couch with strangers, and like I'm excited about
amazing.
those episodes to come. Well, it's like, isn't that so awesome though? Like we both like, I know that we have this in common. Like we are both people that could like walk up to somebody that we don't even know and just like have
100%. It's such a, you could call it a gift and stuff like that. It's almost just like a I don't know, it just happens.
Yeah.
There's just nothing, there's
just
nothing
part
to
of
it.
Who we are.
Yeah.
Like,
you see someone, it's just like, hey, what's up?
Yeah. And I think also like there's so many people that we encounter in life. Like you might be in the coffee shop and your barista is like, you know, another human being sitting across from you or standing across from you. And like, you want to have a little bit of conversation in passing, you know?
Right.
So I just think, having these open conversations with people that have a variety of different perspectives and are going through a ton of different life circumstances, just making a space where we can sit down and come together
and
have open conversation.
I love that. Dose of Duality. Where can you find Dose of Duality? On
Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And you can find all the links on doseofduality.com.
I love that. I love that. Also, make sure to put the link in the description as well.
Thank you.
Okay. So being in fitness, when we are constantly using our bodies to be very physical and just everywhere all at once.
Yeah.
Where do you look for inspiration?
Ooh.
And it doesn't have to be deep, or it can be deep.
Okay, well I have to tell you.
Okay.
I'm going to change one of the words because I don't ever look for inspiration. Inspiration is all around me.
Yes.
I never have to look. I mean, I could be sitting in one place. You could like put me on a park bench somewhere and inspiration would be everywhere. And I think like that's the most beautiful part of life. You know, I think that I'm constantly inspired by my friends. I am constantly inspired by the people that I encounter on a daily basis. I'm constantly inspired by art and music. And, you know, I think I just have such like you call it like the zest for life, you know?
Yeah.
I'm so excited about living that like, it really doesn't take much for me to be inspired.
Right.
I think that like, you know, I'm sometimes inspired in my darkest times and inspired in my brightest times. And inspiration can come from everywhere. You just have to be willing to let it in.
Right. Exactly. There was just kind of piggybacking off of that. There was a quote that I came across not too long ago. And I myself am probably the first person to ever do this all the time, everywhere and anywhere, is to be able to answer first, react first. Yeah. But the saying is, or the quote is, listen so you can see everything clearly. And yeah, it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
And it really resonated with me, and I hope anybody listening to this as well can listening to this as well. Oh gosh, Tina, my wife, got me a dad joke book, so I've just been on a kick lately.
You and Jimmy should talk about that. Jimmy is my husband, by the way. He is, I would like to say, one of the kings of dad jokes. So.
Oh my gosh! Well, I got 301 dad jokes ready,
man,
locked and
loaded. What did X do?
She created a monster. That's what she did. But yeah, listen and you can see everything clearly. I think can tap into so many places within a work setting, within a relationship, within even just looking for or being available for inspiration to show up.
Yeah.
Like there's this, I forget, oh my gosh, I should have wrote it down. There was a phrase or a name for a level of enjoyment. It's
Hmm.
I'll find it another time, but
Okay.
it's Japanese and it translates to the sunlight that comes through leaves.
Ooh. Oh,
And
I
it's
want to know
like,
what that
yeah,
is.
yeah. So it's like it's one word,
Okay.
and it's just some level of like peace that can just give you like fulfillment, happiness. So yeah, I came across, when I find that I'll
Yeah,
send it
please
to you
send that to me. Yeah.
ASAP.
Yeah.
Um yes, inspiration can come to us when we allow it to.
Yeah.
Just We're just there for it. um ooh, Mentors or leaders, maybe you don't have to know them, but like for example, my wife is a big inspiration to me. Her and I are also in the fitness. She's also at Lululemon Studio as well.
Yes, she
Um,
is.
Great. I mean, just overall, just a. I said I could swear on this segment of the show, so she is a badass. If there's
Yeah.
anybody that I'm going to use that on, it'll be her. You're
Yeah.
also a badass too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's how X and I gravitated to each other, because we are both badasses. Wow, I said that.
Let's go.
You've got me
We're
swearing.
breaking the mold. Let's go. All right, now it's all open game here. So, mentors,
Yeah.
leaders, entrepreneurs, people that have um, parents, family, anybody that has or is still to this day, I guess, kind of feeding your creative soul.
Yeah. Wow, there's just a really long list. I think
I'll tell you what.
we got some time.
We got some time.
I have so many mentors,
Hmm.
and so many people that I'm surrounded by, I say, are like my greatest life teachers.
Yes.
And I think that, like, if I started on the list, I would be afraid that I would miss someone. So instead of naming people that mentor
You are
me,
reading my mind
I'm
right now. Oh my gosh, what is this? What is this? Why am I doing this?
It's
The
Italian.
Italian side of my wife is coming out right now. I love it. I love it. Thank you, honey.
But I will say a few people that, like, I am inspired by currently, and then I'll say, like, kind of like where I reach for mentorship. So starting on the mentorship side, since that was the original question, I usually, in whatever I'm going into, I find mentors that have done what I'm trying to do in some capacity already. And so when I first got into podcasting, I actually reached out to like 3 or 4 people that had a podcast and had been doing it for years.
I love that.
And I was like, hey, can I just pick your brain? And reached out to all of these people. Some I was like friends with, some I didn't know, and just had these open conversations with them. They were like willing to have just this open forum with me and like share all their knowledge and wisdom. And I was so grateful for it.
Wow.
But I find myself doing that. That's probably a part of my discipline.
Mm-hmm.
I find myself doing that in every area of my life. If when I was coming into boxing, I was like, okay, I need to find who can mentor me or find who can inspire me in the sport of boxing. And so for me, that was like sometimes a fighter, like Clarissa T-Rex Shields, my absolute favorite fighter. I love her so much.
She's wonderful.
But she's been a huge inspiration to me in the sport of boxing. But then also my coaches have been mentors to me as I've, started to box and become, the boxer that I am today. And then I will say that, like, I look to, certain voices to just like hear some sense of confirmation or sometimes just pull inspiration from. And those are people like authors that I read, like Alex L. or Morgan Harper Nichols.
Or Chrissy King.
Giving all the love to Chrissy. Her book just came out yesterday. So like, I want everyone to get it. I already know it's going to be amazing. And I'm just in the first few pages, but
Perfect.
Yeah, I think that, like, again, just like there is inspiration all around, you can find a mentor in someone that you might not even think that you could, but we all have different life experiences. And so there's always something that you can say to me or another person can say to me that's going to help me grow or help me have a better understanding.
Totally.
And so, yeah, I just don't limit myself when it comes to like mentorship. I'm like, I've got so many mentors, and
Yeah.
I'm sure I will continue to draw so many more in
I love
as I
that.
continue to grow.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
great. Yes. All right. Do you have a favorite saying or quote that kind of follows you wherever you go?
Absolutely. I say the same quote every single time because it applies to me always. And I always think that it's good for others. It's start where you are, use what you can, use what you have, do what you can.
Hmm.
It's Arthur Ashe, also an incredible athlete. And for me, I just think that it's like a resetting quote.
Yeah.
It's like, from exactly where I am right now, I can use exactly what I've been given to do everything that I can. But that's really all we can ask of ourselves. And that's all we can ask of other people, right? Is like for them to start at the exact point that they are and use what they have to do everything that they can in that moment.
I love that.
So yeah.
I love that.
That's my favorite saying.
Yes, Deja. Okay, the last question. We're already at the final question.
I know what this is.
I am a true nerd, geek, whatever anybody wants to call it. I love video games. I've grown up on video games. So, video games. What did you grow up playing? And if so, what was your favorite video game?
All right. So
keep in mind, I have no idea if she actually likes video games or not. This is just
I
something.
did grow up on video games. I am not a current gamer, but honestly, X and I have had this conversation, and I was like, if I can go back to these original games that I used to play growing up, I would be all in. So it is Mario Kart.
Yes.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay.
And Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Those three.
Yes.
And also on Mortal Kombat, I always have to be Shiva.
Yes. All right. Let's go.
All three are like tops. Like
Yes.
I can't even pick one out of the three. I used to play all three of them like every single day.
Wait. Was this the Nintendo 64 Mario Kart version?
Yes.
That by far is one of the goats.
Yeah.
If you grew up with a Nintendo 64, my friends, and you had the 4 controllers plugged into it, listen, friendships were made, friendships were ruined.
Oh yeah.
Family was torn apart in an instant because of a Bowser shell. All right? Things happened instantly that you couldn't even fathom. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you. First off, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here in mi casa, our home.
Thanks for having me.
Truly, you are always welcome.
Yeah.
I wanted to open this up to you, and you don't have to interview me or anything like that. I wanted to have you on this because I truly appreciate you as a person, as a human being, as an inspiration in the industry that I'm currently trying to grow up in the podcast world, in the fitness world, in the life world. So you and Jimmy are close to me and my wife, and Missy as well. She likes y'all too. She likes y'all too. So again, thank you so much for your time and your energy. It means the world. It means the world. Do you have any questions, any closing or anything?
I actually do have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
But I think it's like an important question, and maybe you've answered it for your audience before, but I would love to know what made you start the show? Like, what was your inspiration behind this? What was your motivation? And how did you get yourself disciplined to put it into action?
I thank you. Yeah. That is a great question. And if I stray, you can always bring me back in.
Yeah, I got you.
I started this because I needed not only for myself. I not only did I want to give this to others, but I wanted to be accountable for myself, because I know that in order to level up my game, I have to step into a light that might be a little uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
If there's anything that I've ever loved doing, it's talking, and I can talk anybody's ears off. But because I truly love storytelling, I love sharing people's stories. I love hearing people's stories. I love, I don't know. I just feel like if there's anything that I could be, I could exercise all day, but there is a point where I have to recover. And what can I do when I'm recovering? It's it's talking, it's sharing, it's just being present.
Yeah.
And what came out of this was an opportunity I forced myself to film live twice a week with like a little theme to go around, and somebody that I come across that inspires me, that has a morning routine, and I just talk about it and how it's so easy to just do a couple of things. So for example, I liked my snooze button. I was like, all right, 15 more minutes. I'll just sleep in a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I heard that from somebody else that I'd been listening to in December, November, and they had said, when you hit the snooze button, you're kind of breaking a promise you made to yourself that you were going to wake up at a certain time.
Okay.
And I know you said that too, babe. My wife is saying, I've told you this every day.
And but sometimes it just hits different coming
that's right.
Not the home
Listen
source.
to your spouse, your partner, whomever it is. Listen to him.
Jimmy does the same thing. I told you that.
Yeah.
But if it came from someone else,
Right. Sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, this new thing that I haven't heard of before. What? I have to tell my wife this. So I was like, oh my gosh. All right. So first alarm, I'm waking up, I'm up. So my mandatory for Monday through Friday, I promised myself that I would, as long as I had work in the morning, I'd wake up at 5 a.m. or at least 2 to 3 hours before that slotted work to get up, and then I'd do the following.
Yeah.
I drink a bottle of water, or at least like 16 to 30 ounces of water to jumpstart my system, get some things going.
Yeah.
After that, I make my coffee, I hop in the shower, I get ready, and then I'm back out here in the living room, and I look at my list of things that I wrote the night before.
Yeah.
And it's of things that I need to get done for the day. And that way I can like start my day off immediately with things that are like, oh, that's right, I have to listen for 15 minutes to an audiobook and take notes. Okay. Yeah. I have to pray. I have to get my water. I have to prep questions for Deja. Like things that I have to do for that day. And so I would just say these things on each episode that I would film, so that again, it's accountability. It's also a reminder that I'm saying, or a promise to myself.
Yeah.
Because I myself am very adventurous and I love to do many things. I'm really good at doing many things, but I have to remind myself to come back, ground yourself for a second, give yourself some grace.
Yeah.
And then, give when you can.
Yeah.
So I did this also, I probably just said this, but I also wanted to do something like this because I know I needed it more than ever.
Yeah.
I was in transition of a couple of things from work to, should I continue pursuing to be a fighter, or should I pursue trying to be a better coach, strength training, lifting, like all these things. Now I have a more clear head. Like I'm very passionate about boxing and coaching boxing, how it can help others. I love lifting heavy things. I don't know what it is, but a long time ago, I just never lifted weights. I was all calisthenics.
Yeah.
And I would just flip and do stupid stuff. I was that guy. I would literally like coming to New York I've been in New York now for 8-9 years, but if you've never like seen like cats on the subway train like do their tricks and stunts, I was the guy that got up from the seat and was like, hey, sorry to butt into your set, but can you show me how you did that? Like full on. God. Like I was like, I have to know how to do this. Can you show me how to flip through the rails?
Flipping on the subway too?
In Chicago, I did.
Okay.
Me and my buddy David would go.
Are there videos of this?
No, thank God. At least videos that yeah. So yeah, my buddy David and I in Chicago, we would do acro yoga before it was acro yoga.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
would do like stuff like balancing on each other, and
Oh my God.
yeah, we got paid to do it too. Actually,
That's
it was
awesome.
great. It was an awesome gig.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we started getting a little bit older and falling out of stuff, and things hurt.
Yeah. 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 And then that'll tell you when you need to slow it down.
Totally. But yes, this discipline, I wanted to instill something within me so that no matter where I went, no matter how many L's I would take throughout the day, I'd at least have my morning routine. That was the wins that I stacked in the morning, and it would always offset the losses, always offset the character building moments. I always want to make sure that I'm never off my game for my family's sake, for my jobs, for myself, for my friends. I always want to make sure that in some way, shape, or form, I'm able to, I guess, just be prepared for anything.
Yeah.
And it's tough to always be in that state of mind, and that's where giving yourself grace comes into play. Yeah. Grace.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Well, honestly, Judy, like, one of the things that I admire about you is that you do everything with so much purpose. You know, you do everything.
I try.
You're not trying, you're doing.
Thank you.
And honestly, you're very intentional about the things that you do. And to me, like, as your friend, that is so inspiring. And so, like, I knew that you had an answer to that question. I knew that there was, like, you know, you already had a very clear vision for what you wanted to do. And I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is not the last time you're going to be on this and stuff like that. Cause I'm telling you, it's like, this is like something that I feel like can benefit a lot of people. And, you know, if there's anything that we could do, it's, you know, when we learn how can I help you? You know, and for us being in the fitness industry as well, we really like understand, like, how can I help this individual that's messaging me right now?
Yeah.
With the thank you that they said for the class that they took online. And you maybe have no idea like who they are, like in person, but you're just like, okay, how can I help them? How can I be a better servant to others? How can I better serve my friends? How can I better serve my partner, my, you know, even myself? You know, we're here on a path that we want to see getting even greater and greater. And I'm happy that we're here able to share this.
Same. And I'm happy that our paths collided, and like, we're able to be in a space together to share conversation and to share our experiences and our lives together, and looking forward to more of it.
Me too. I couldn't agree more. Well, I think that do you have any other questions for me? You
know, I could think of a lot, but I do want you to be on my show. So maybe I should save those questions for when you come sit on my
tag.
Couch.
I'm it.
It'll be a good time. I have some questions for you.
It will be a great time for sure. I'm down. I'm game. You tell me when and where.
All right.
All right. I got you.
Yeah.
Well, let's close this out with the show, everybody. This is the JD Talks Show, episode 13, with 10 questions with Deja Riley. Definitely more than 10 questions, but
yeah, I mean, 10
who's
10 plus
counting?
Questions. We can put a little plus sign.
10 plus. 10 plus. It's a subscription now all of a sudden. Listen, everybody, feel free to like, share, subscribe. Books to be out on the look for: How We Heal, and also the Body Liberation Project. Dose of Duality is the podcast that Deja Riley is working on, and also just being there for. So feel free to, again, reach out to all of us, and also check her out on Lululemon Studios as well. She teaches a wonderful round of classes, boxing.
There's boxing,
and many more. Thank you again, everybody. Peace out. I'm gonna just disappear. I'm gonna end it right here.